Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Wild Moments with Africam, powered by explore.org. My name is Ben Coley. I will be here along with the lovely Kelly Oldacre, who is joining us. Hello, Kelly. How are you doing?
Hello, Ben. I am super. I'm just feeling the heat a little bit. I've been sitting outside for a while now, and the afternoon heat has suddenly warmed up. I'm feeling toasty right now. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, thank you. It is very warm in Hoodspray, just for all of you watching, wherever you may be. We've had our traditional 3 or 4 days of spring, and it seems that we have just gone straight from winter into summer because that's what we do in the Lowveld. We don't mess around with things like spring. So a couple of days ago, it was 38 degrees and humid, and I think it's mid 30s today. So I'm sitting under the fan, which you can't see behind me. So I consider myself in a slightly better position than you are. But it is, of course, wonderful to be back. If you're just joining us for the very first time, thank you. We're here for the next half an hour, and we're going to look at 4 clips that we have dug out from the last week, which will hopefully show some interesting interactions and things that we're going to see. And as always, Kelly and I haven't seen them, so hopefully our reactions will be genuine, and hopefully we will be able to add something to them. But we've had a few hellos coming through. We love it when you send in your questions and comments, so please continue to do so. Cindy, you're saying a good morning from Pittsburgh. Hello, Amber CO. You're waving hello, coffee in hand, and thanking the whole team that makes these shows possible. I'm sure we reiterate that. Namaste to Zygote as well. Hello, Bridget McKinney. MG Leopard Spots is with us. You are enjoying your iced water as usual. My water is not iced, MG Leopard Spots, but I'm also on the water today. I'm trying to be like the animals as it's quite warm. And Egla saying hello from Germany. Kelly, are you keeping yourself hydrated as well, I hope, considering you are outside in the elements?
Um, I have a sugar-based fluid product close by. Oh no, wait! I've also got some
Oh,
water. There we go. There we go. I
oh, you
totally
also got
forgot about Braden. Yes, I've also got
excellent.
some water, so that's good.
Great. What have you been up to, Kelly?
Um, I've actually been doing lots of stuff and things. I've been away for, oh no, it's Thursday. Last week. I've been back for 4 days. I had a fascinating week traveling around South Africa doing some behavior modification with captive wildlife over the last week, organized by COPE, run by Mira. And we were looking on enrichment projects, we were looking at assessing behaviors. Absolutely fascinating, very different to either the wild side of things I do or the canine side of things I do. It was a very interesting mixture, but yeah, fascinating, made for a very interesting change. I enjoyed it very, very much. And yourself, what have you been up to?
That does sound fascinating. I've been busy with astro-based stuff, as always, my head in the stars. But I just got back yesterday from the Northern Sabi Sands after a very enjoyable evening where I was doing some stargazing and joined on a couple of drives. And I had a wonderful time. It was also my birthday, so that was my birthday present to, well, I was working, but there are worse ways to spend your birthday. But I saw the Kambulo male lions on a kill. I saw the Kajima lions, two male lion coalition. I saw Kachava and her two cubs, Rolani and Chapuku. I saw some females from the Torchwood Pride. I saw some females from the Unkahuma Pride. I had a catastic day, and I'm busy editing some photos that I took as we speak today. So I'm sure I'll be posting those soon. So that was pretty spectacular. And I would also like to say that I see we've had a message from Stacey, who is sitting at the airport in Johannesburg watching us, who was one of the people I was with yesterday morning and the previous evening. Hello, Stacey. I'm glad you could join us.
Hello, Stacey. Thank
I
you
see
for
we have
being
lots of
here.
people. Lots of people saying hi. Tris Visop, good day, everyone. Probably one of the last hot days over 30 degrees where you are. And you have some cool tap filtered water. Well, aren't we all a healthy bunch today? Hello, Oza Negro as well. Hello, April Owls, greeting us from a cool but sunny, that's good to know, Connecticut. And you have a cherry iced tea. That sounds rather nice. And thank you for my birthday wishes for a couple of days ago, April Owl. Grumpy Old Man is also with us, saying nice job and live at the waterhole today, Kelly.
Thank you.
Hello to Karu, Zygote saying busy bee Kelly. Yeah, buzzing around all over the country about the sound of
It's
it.
been super
Right,
fun.
but enough frivolity, I say. I reckon let's get stuck into it. So I believe the first clip that we have lined up is from Vic Falls Forest Lodge with one of our crocodiles, this time, by the sound of it, having a go at an elephant. So let's have a look. This is going to be the classic Rudyard Kipling Just So story of how the elephant got its trunk, I think.
Oh, the tension's palpable.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
that was a terrible idea.
Wow. I wasn't expecting it. I was thinking it's a bit like Jaws. You're waiting for the surprise moment. I didn't know we were going to see one grab a trunk. I mean, I know it has been recorded and it has been seen happening, but I've certainly never seen it myself. But
No.
sheesh, that's
I
pretty
heard
amazing.
someone, I did hear someone the other day. I was discussing the idea of crocodiles attacking elephants, and as exactly as you just said, Ben, it does occasionally happen. I've never seen that before. Have I even seen a clip of that before? Possibly, but I've certainly never even seen a crocodile try and grab a elephant before. There are records of it, but let's watch. See, that's got to be a mistake. Like that crocodile must
Well,
have thought
I
it
suppose,
was something else.
yeah. Did he? That's what I was going to wonder. Does the crocodile? Is there any thought process that says, "Wow, that'd be a good meal," or is he just being attracted by this thing being dunked into the water? But it'd be interesting to know if that elephant has got any injuries to the trunk. I would think those teeth would have punctured the skin, maybe down to the nostril. I've no doubt it'll heal. I don't think it's going to be anything
Mm.
life-threatening, but no, I've never seen that. I was sort of tongue in cheek saying that we're going to have a how an elephant's got its trunk moment, but I didn't expect that. I thought maybe the crocodile would come up and snap or something, but not to actually grab a jaw full of trunk. That's incredible.
I'm sure I'm sure there's a injury and some bleeding sort of thing, but that was also a young elephant. I think it's got to be a case of mistaken identity. It's I'm just trying to think logically. It's dark. The crocodile's underwater. I would have thought it was just sort of attracted to a something, and it's just grabbed something, because the chances of even a even a baby elephant. I mean, a tiny baby elephant, a massive croc might be able to roll. But I mean, that was a young elephant, and that just flicked it off like it was nothing.
Yeah, I think it's instinct more than anything, as you said. But I see Kirsten's just chimed in saying it's not the first time this crocodile apparently has been recorded doing that. Zygo's agreeing that this croc is crazy. But yeah, I mean
Aim
that is
high.
pretty incredible.
Aim high. Maybe if he tries it enough times, they'll get a technique going, and we'll see a crocodile elephant kill.
Yeah, I mean, a crocodile's got very little chance of doing anything with it. I agree. A baby elephant, perhaps, but it would be interesting to know whether it was a calculated, wow, that's going to be a big meal. I'm going to give it a crack, or if it was just there's something in the water. I'm going to try and grab it. But I know we've seen this croc. I think was it last week when I did the show with Trish that we saw him have a go at a warthog, and I think we've seen one As well, possibly also at Vic Falls, where one tried to grab a leg of a buffalo. If it's the same crocodile, I think he needs anger management swiftly.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm also looking. It sounds like that this crocodile might have lofty expectations of himself, and fair play. But imagine if that elephant had run forward. I mean, maybe not that baby elephant, but an adult elephant would, if they stepped on that croc, they would squash it. So I think that's fairly poor judgment from the croc, but obviously not learning. If he's done it before, obviously it wasn't overly concerned with the outcome, so I had another go. Fair play, I guess.
Yeah. Bridget McKinney saying, "Wow, that's crazy." Ozanegro saying, "So that's how elephants get the injuries on their trunk tip." I suppose it's certainly a
Possibly.
possibility. I mean, we've seen quite a few elephants with the tips or the bottom portions of their trunk missing, which I always put down to snare injuries. You can normally tell
Mm,
just with how clean the cut it is,
mm,
but it does make you wonder. I would think even if there was a big croc, he would need to say, as you said, they have to roll and rip. They haven't got shearing carnassial
mm.
teeth. I can't imagine one would actually be able to take off a chunk of trunk. But that is something to evidence that the croc was about to launch itself out of the water and seemingly has no fear. April Hour, you're saying, yikes, poor elephant trump. I think I meant to say there. And Tris Lissop, you're saying you're amazed that Ellies haven't trampled this croc. It's the
Mm.
second sighting like this. Could they behave differently if it happened during the day? Crocs are generally more active at night. They do have very good night vision. I couldn't equate how good it is, but you can see they've got that tapetum lucidum. Their eyes reflect very nicely in the spotlight. But yeah, it's as you said, evidently a crocodile with an inferiority complex, maybe.
Or quite the opposite.
Oh yeah. I see, Andy, you're saying you would think the croc would have learned by now that elephants are stronger. Well, yeah, well, they say it's the definition of insanity, isn't it? To keep repeating the same thing and expecting a different result. But yeah, I can't see that one boding well. And as you rightly said, it could have been particularly nasty for it. I've still only ever seen a croc take an antelope once or twice. But
Mm.
yeah, never ever an elephant like that. Very cool.
Not for the
Well, that was a
elephant. It's
pretty
not cool at all for the elephant.
well, no, not if you're the elephant. I imagine you got the shock of its life. Yeah. Be pretty bad if it was the same elephant that got done by that croc last time. Maybe there's something we don't know about going on in the background.
Maybe.
But that was pretty amazing. So I think let's crack
Mm.
straight on to the next one. Also involving elephants, and this time at Camel Thorn, and a bit of a face-off with a baby hippo, by the sound of it.
See, I'll let you into a secret. If is this the same? No, this is not the same clip. I saw a baby hippo. Is this the same clip? Watch this baby hippo's mouth. No, this is not the same clip. Oh, that's really sad.
It's a very confident little hippo, though. I mean, that can't be more than a few, well, very difficult with hippos because they're very, very small when they're born. So I've got to take a complete stab in the dark of about 6 months. But to be wandering around, feeding, and not being too perturbed by this huge
Mm.
elephant without mum being present.
What? Yeah, this is the same. This, yeah, look at his mouth. This I did see this. I was trying to work out if this mouth, because I know hippos doing that thing with their mouth is often a threat display, but some young animals also
Mm.
open their mouth as a like zebras or horses, they will mouth as a submissive display. So I don't know if this hippo was having a trial saying, please don't hurt me.
It doesn't seem to be too bothered. I mean, it's still wandered back into the vicinity. It almost looks as if the bull elephant there is more just sort of saying, "What, what
What
on
are you
earth
doing?
is this thing?"
What are you doing? Come away from the elephant. But mom, get over there. See, interesting that that reaction to mum was even stronger than the reaction to the baby from the elephant.
Mm. Yeah, I also was looking at that, whether it has anything to do with the fact that she would be deemed more of a threat. But I also think it's just amazing, if that was a person, the reaction would have been an awful lot stronger than a little bit of a casual wave of the trunk like that. But it's
Get
so nice to see how the animals get on an awful lot better than we do. But there again, these hippos have not persecuted elephants for thousands of years, so you can certainly understand it. But I always
that
think
look
it's interesting to see them all in harmony.
that looks like she's going, get in the water. Don't do that. Get in the water. Go on. That's what we're supposed to do with elephants in the water. That genuinely looked like an educational safety shove back into the water to me.
Well, so your behavioural knowledge there, but I saw what you mean with the mouth open.
Mm.
Yeah, whether or not that was a please don't hurt me or a rah, look at me, I'm really scary and you may not want to try it. I'm a more dangerous than I might look. But no, very, very cute. I particularly enjoyed the way he ran. These baby hippos with their stumpy little legs, they are so cute. Thank you for that demonstration.
That's not a problem. Just like a baby hippo.
HH is saying, do you think elephants are intelligent enough to know babies of other species are less dangerous? I shall defer that to our behavioralist here.
Um, H. I don't know if it would be because it was young of other animals. It's so difficult to know what animals are thinking, and that's why I like it. It's so open to interpretation, so we can only look at body language. But from a logical perspective, if something is smaller compared to if something is bigger, in general, it would be viewed as less of a threat. It's why some animals react differently between men and women because men tend to be bigger. Um, I would say based on a size thing, yes. Whether or not they are emotionally intuitive enough to go, this is a big hippo, this might bite me, but that's a baby hippo. That's not as much to worry about. I don't know if we'll ever understand that. What do you think, Ben?
I think what you said makes perfect sense. It's a size thing. I mean, elephant society is dominated by size. You only get breeding rights when you're maybe 35, when you've become a proper big elephant. Smaller, younger elephants will always submit to larger ones. So I suppose from a nature rather than nurture perspective, it would make sense to be less bothered by a smaller one. And so interesting that it almost sort of swatted it away in casual amusement more than anything else. Whereas when Mum came into the fray, as you said, it seemed to be more of a forceful
Mm,
swish of the trunk because yeah, potentially poses a greater threat.
mm.
But yeah, very, very cute. I do like baby hippos. I wish we had them out of the water. I don't know what it is about camel thorn and why the hippos spend so much time out of the water there, but it does lead to some very nice viewing opportunities.
It does.
Right. Okay. On to clip number three, which is I need to check my notes because I've forgotten in all the excitement, and now things have got stuck. Where are we? Ah, yes. Oh, yes. An elephant calf with a bit of a foot injury. Let's have a look.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
This
Shame,
is where
poor
they
thing.
when they come back to us and we're both peering into the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that.
No, I think I've seen elephants with various portions of their trunk missing, as I've said, but I don't think I've ever seen one that's lost an entire lower portion of its foot. I can only assume that it's a snare injury, that it got stuck in a snare and the snare had cut through and maybe was strong enough to pull away from the snare, or whether an adult had wrenched it out. That's the only thing I could think of that could have caused that.
Sorry if anyone can hear a very overexcited bauble in the background. It's thinking about having a drink and telling everyone. Um, I was just trying to look and see. I mean, it's so unlikely whether or not it could have been a birth defect, but it looks like there is. You can see that the texture at the end of that. It almost looks different. There's a lighter patch, which I assume is
Mm.
a warmer patch. I think on this camera. Um,
Or a more pinky scar tissue, perhaps.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think it looks too like jaggedy and rough to me to be a birth defect. But how old do you think that animal is, Ben? I hate guessing animals' ages these days, but it's not tiny, is it?
No, I'd say it's probably 18 months to 2 years, somewhere
Yeah,
between 1 and 2 years. It's difficult to say for sure, but I'm just thinking of what that's going to mean, when you're a younger elephant, and obviously you don't have the body mass of an adult, as to how much I'm thinking more of the stresses and the strains that's going to be placed on the front foot as well, because the front feet carry a lot more weight than the
yeah.
back feet, hence the rounded shape rather than the oval shape. It's obviously getting around okay. It helps that you've got the support of a herd. It'd be interesting to see if it's a young male or a young female. Obviously, if it's female, it'll have the support of its herd, assuming it can keep up um, for its entire life. But a young male will be ousted and then have to deal with life on his own, which could make it very
Oh,
difficult.
that's making me really sad, actually. It looks like it's trying to use that foot like elephants would sort of scoop, you know how they scoop dust or something onto its trunk to help it feed. It looked like it was trying to use its foot. Oh, that's actually quite upsetting. I don't
Yeah,
that's a
well,
massive
it is. It's
shame.
horrible. Or whether it's a balance issue. But yeah, obviously the muscles and the tendons and things in there are working, which leads me to think if it was a birth thing, then maybe the whole leg would have been a little bit more defunct. So I can only assume that
Mm.
it's been lost. And the most logical thing to assume is from a snare, I suppose. But I'm just thinking that's going to be so. I mean, if an elephant has a broken leg, it's curtains pretty much just because of the
Mm.
weight. So I'm just trying to think when it gets a bit older, I can't imagine that's going to be something very easy to deal with. But we always say animals are incredibly resilient. I've
Mm, they
seen
are.
in the Sabi Sand, I saw a leopard whose trunk, I mean, there was maybe only this much of the trunk, if that. It was almost like an elephant seal or something, and it was still feeding. It had figured it out, and it was browsing without, just with its mouth, basically. So yeah, it's horrible to see.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that either. That it just makes me sad. I never forget watching a rhino that had been dehorned, trying to scratch his horn on a post on a log thing. Dehorned obviously in security efforts. And that made me sad. It and that when he tried to use his foot, it looked like to use his leg to push something onto that trunk. That's I find that very difficult to watch actually.
No, it is, and particularly being a youngster, it's
Hmm.
even harder to watch. Bridget McKinney, you're saying it's a bit like a club foot. Yeah, it little bit. And I also saw a picture a couple of days ago. Somebody had posted of an elephant. I think it was in Huanggi, that had this really strange, could have been a fungal infection, but the whole foot, instead of just being a flat pad like this, it was all sort of curled up, as if it had been sort of splatted out, basically, and potentially a case of what they call pododermatitis, which you see in captive elephants, almost a bit like trench foot and fungal infections. But again, this was on an adult, and it seemed to be moving without too much problems. But it just goes to show nothing is immune from these horrible things. Although, say, my suspicion is that that's a man-made problem. I see Zygote suggesting we could, or could we give it an artificial limb? um, I know
Should we move on?
I think it's been done in certain things, yeah, but an elephant, I don't know. You'd need some serious titanium carbon fiber, and I don't think you could do it on a youngster, even if we had the veterinary ability to do it, because it's going to grow so quickly, and the weight
Mm.
bearing requirements of an artificial limb would change so fast that I don't think that would work. Maybe an elephant with a peg leg. Who knows?
Shall we
Shame.
carry
But
on?
yeah, I'm a bit lost for words on that one. It is quite
I am.
quite
I'm quite
classic
upset by it,
stuff.
actually. I think it's sad.
All right. Well, I think we've got one last clip for you, also involving a hippo, and I think it is a moto doing
Oh,
moto things.
that line, look at that line. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, but this hippo is so aggressive. Again, I'm sure it was last week with Trish. We saw him chasing buffalo around on the bank, not in the water, not out of the water. He was just chasing a group of dogger boys who were minding their own business, just lying, ruminating somewhere close to the dam.
I wonder if we know if these are Zygote saying the crocodile at Vic Falls need to meet with Moto the hippo.
Could you imagine the carnage?
Get them in a room. Get them in a room. Still drinking. Are you mad? But they're still. Oh no, they the perspective was he was actually further away than he appeared in the perspective of that.
But still, I'm sure those lions have drunk in many water holes with hippos before and have never been charged by a hippo. So they probably weren't expecting it. I agree, they were sort of drinking even when he rose up and started approaching them. They were like, yeah, whatever. And then
Yeah.
thought, whoop.
It's classic case of, well, it should be fine. Is he going to go again?
I'm just wondering. I wouldn't surprise me from what we've seen of him in the past.
Look, those lines are having a little bit of a consolidatory, reassuring touch there. Oh, didn't like that. Let's go. Let's go. It's right. We're deciding to leave on our own. We didn't want to drink anymore anyway. Your water's rubbish. Oh, we're going to lay down. Is he going to? Is he going to reprimand them for resting there?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. He did it with a bunch of buffalo the other week, so well, maybe not. But yeah, geez, I've seen hippos chase some things and charge out of the water, but I don't think I've ever seen a hippo being aggressive towards a lion having a drink. I could almost understand it if it was a small water hole and maybe a young hippo who was a bit insecure. But as far as I know, that's a full-grown adult, and there's a decent amount of water there. It's not like there were any particular danger to him. But yeah, you never know what you're going to see, huh?
I was speaking to a trails specialist with many hours and hours of experience on foot. And they said in all their years of walking, they'd only ever seen one hippo come out of water to act aggressively towards people. They must not walk there.
Good advice. but it must be interesting to know what his history is, because this is not the first time that he's done it. We've seen him chase multiple animals there, and it's very unhippo-like. Whether there was a traumatic event at some point in his past, or whether he's just a cantankerous hippo, I don't know, but fascinating.
Well, from a behaviorist point of view, if that was a dog, I'd say send him for a vet check because that's unusual behavior. Maybe he's sore, maybe he's uncomfortable, maybe there's gut issues, often the thing that comes up. But yeah, there's normally a reason animals behave out of character, either medical or trauma based. So yeah, shame, poor mortal.
Yeah. Tris Bissell for saying Motomoto chose violence as his way of life. I think that's a lovely way to sum it up and to finish with, Tris. Regrettably, half an hour has flown by as it always does. So just remains to say, Kelly, thank you very much for your insights and for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for your questions, comments, everyone who makes this possible. And I hope that you all thoroughly enjoyed those really interesting clips, and I hope you'll join us next time.